Hey, everybody. Welcome back to All I Can Be. Jump in. Well, if it's your first time joining us, welcome. All right, today is episode 9, and it's about a war zone. So, with that said, let's jump into it. Okay, so if you deployed and you are back home safe, welcome back. If you were in an active war zone, welcome home. If you were wounded or on a deployment or war zone, I'm glad you made it home safe and alive. For those who did not make it back alive, let's just take a moment of silence for them. Okay, so today we're going to talk about a new war zone. It's not your standard war zone, but I know I shouldn't look at it like this, but this is how I look at things. And I know I look at things a little twisted than a lot of people, but that's just who I am. So, um, given the situation of what goes on in the world today, and of course here in America and everything else, um, I ask that you stay alert and stay alive because there's some craziness out here. Okay, so whether it's economically or somebody's trying to attack you physically or verbally or mentally or whatever, um, just try to keep your guard up and you know protect yourself from these type things that happen. Um, so to me, I see that as a war zone. It's just like being in a real war zone. Somebody's always trying to attack you, kill you, whatever. But this is kind of situation I see us in today in America and honestly worldwide. But I'm more concerned about America right now, today. Okay. So it seems as a veteran, we don't let our guard down, and it's a shame that we have to do that and have to be like that. Um, but the state of the world, gives us no choice. You always have your guards up. You're ready to fight for what you want and what you need, what you deserve. But it's just one of those things that happens. But you know, if you want to survive or live a good life or just live, period. Okay. Um, for those who did not serve, please follow the same guidance. But we all are in this thing together. I mean, it's a world situation. Okay. Um, and we all are fighting to keep our benefits, our way of life, our freedom, um, just trying to, just live. So we're fighting to do that, and it's just there's so much going on that you know we have to be prepared for anything and everything. Okay, so hang in there, take care of each other, and be safe out there. So I'm not gone yet. I'm going to leave you with a little war zone story, or it's one of my war zone stories. And this story consists of actually I'm going to say my first war zone. It was my second. Um, there's a shield. There's a storm. Okay. There's a shield kicked off in August. It was 7 August 1990. Uh, it was after Iraq invaded Kuwait, if I remember this correctly. Um, what I did when I was at Fort Lewis, after I got that gunshot wound in my right leg in Panama, excuse me, I was trying to get back to what I love doing, and that was jumping out of airplanes in the 82nd Airborne Division. and that's why I wanted to go. So I realized to go back. So I did. So when the time came for me to pick up stakes and head down across the United States, over back to North Carolina, Fort Bragg, that's where I took off to. So now here's a funny thing, not like haha funny, but just funny because I got there the night before I was supposed to sign in, and I was in the hotel room and I was got me some dinner or something, and I was sitting there and I was getting ready to just turn the TV on and see what was on, and lo and behold, what the hell's going on? I saw that the 82nd was deploying, and I said, "Oh my God, I came back just in time." So people that don't know me, or at least listen to my other uh, videos, I know I'm kind of out there when it came down to that. It was just that I enjoyed being in a combat zone, and it was weird shit, ain't it? It's just weird. But anyway, um, so I got excited about it, and so I couldn't sleep that well at night, but I did get some kind of sleep, and I couldn't wait to get to base and sign in. And when I got up back on Fort Bragg and signed in, the first thing when I said to him, I said, "I know we deploying." I said, "I want to go to the infantry, and I want to go to the ones that's deploying." And they said, it gave me that crazy look like, "What, you want to what? A volunteer for something?" Like, okay, sure, yeah, we'll put you down there in Third Brigade. So I went down to Third Brigade. Actually, I was in First Battalion of the Third Brigade. Third Brigade is the 505, the 505th Parachute Infantry Regiment, and I was in First Battalion, First 505. Shout out to those who's in First 505 and in the Third Brigade. Shit, anybody who was in the 82nd Division. So I I was assigned to Third Brigade, and I think it was probably less than a week or something like that. I was wheels up and wheels down in Saudi Arabia. So I got there, what they call a place called Champion, Maine, where the rest of the I want to say, I think that was, I can't remember all the brigades that was there. I think it was just two though, maybe two. And I was bused from the airport, air base, whatever it was in Saudi Arabia to, I think it's called Doha. Uh, so I was bused from there to Champion, Maine, where we sat there and waited. We trained and did other things, but I was trying to get back and to get my run back because remember I had that gunshot wound in my right leg, so I couldn't really run right. I thought I was running good, but the guy said somebody told me I was limping. I said limping, but I couldn't tell because to me I was just normal running. So anyway, so we stayed there for a little bit, and then when just I think it was several weeks, I can't remember exactly the timeline, but we actually did move out and prepared for Desert Storm. Now, Desert Storm happened on 17th January, so we was moving probably a couple weeks before that. So again, they asked for another volunteer. Now I know they tell you in the army, don't volunteer for nothing. Don't ever volunteer for nothing. I was the idiot that volunteered for everything. So I volunteered again. And I said, okay, I want to go with the infantry and do what they're doing. And so I was selected as a driver since I had a driver's license because I used to be a mechanic in the army. I was selected as a driver for the operations sergeant major, and we drove forward behind the infantry. We stayed close to the infantry, but we had our own little convoy, and I was the lead vehicle. I was the driver for the lead vehicle. So anything that would have happened along the way might have caught that lead vehicle, might have caught it, and that was me. But I didn't care. I enjoyed the heck out of that shit. So anyway, so we drove and we stopped in several places on our way. And I think when we crossed over into Iraq, uh, we actually pulled up stakes somewhere and stopped there that night. And we was uh, resting and eating. And I think we was waiting on further orders. And I think after they started dropping bombs after this around the 17th January, something like that, they started dropping bombs and stuff. I could see the actual uh, I think it was the oil well that was on fire. You could see them burning in the night or in the daytime. You could see them, but it was much brighter at night. So we saw those. You could see those from where you were, uh, from where we were anyway. And one of the funny things is, before we actually moved forward after that, I was, uh, when you had to use the bathroom when you're on the move like that, you ain't got no porta potty, no toilet or nothing. You had to go out there in the desert, dig a cat hole, and take a poop. And so that's what I did. I was doing that one night, and I just happened to look up while I was pooping. I saw this aircraft go over. It was so quiet. I couldn't figure out if that was a freaking stealth fighter or stealth bomber or whatever, or was it a UFO? But at that moment, because I didn't know what it really was, I said, okay, it's time to go. So I finished up closing that cat hole and, took off and went back. And, I think I told some people about that. I'm not sure. Anyway, we got back on the road probably a day or two, something like that. And we headed on into Iraq. And that's when all the fighting had started and stuff. And, um, and then at that point, I think we linked up with the rest of the infantry folks and stuff. And then something happened. I can't remember. Somebody was shooting at us, and we was in the back of a vehicle or something. I think Delta Company had launched a tow around at somebody and hit the fence. I thought people were laughing at him because he hit the fence instead, or something like that. Anyway, but it was a fun stuff. It was. I mean, we stayed there by Euphrates River, and the whole Air Force played and had all kind of stuff, whatever. But anyway, we deployed back. I think it was in June when we actually came back. I can't remember exactly, but that was kind of fun, and I enjoyed the heck out of it. So anyway, that's my story. Anyway, that's a short story. That's my time. I want to tell you all to be safe and take care out there. Remember, stay alert, stay alive, um, and have a cool day.